Well, as I sat here this afternoon, I kind of asked myself, did anyone read this resolution? You know, when I was a kid, we had a game. We'd sit in a circle, and we'd whisper something in a person's ear and ask him to pass it along. And invariably, by the time it got back to us, it was all wrong. And that's what we have here, except you didn't sit in a circle. You went on Facebook, the preferred news media for 80% of our population. And on Facebook, people took things out of it and kind of made it what they want. You ever heard somebody say, well, you can't defund our schools? And nothing in this says we're going to defund schools. Not one thing. Let me tell you what it says, if you haven't read it. Whereas the board has received numerous communications from parents, students, and concerned constituents regarding the teaching of the 1619 Project and critical race theory and related principles in Stafford County Public Schools, and whereas the board has received numerous communications from parents, students, and concerned constituents regarding students from Stafford County Public Schools being required to identify their chosen pronoun. Being required. State law says that you cannot ask a student their pronoun. You cannot require them to give it. It says if the student or the student's parent goes to the teacher and asks that a preferred pronoun be applied to them or their child, the teacher must do that. Fine. No problem. No problem at all. What this says, they can't be required. I had one lady call me up so upset because her son, who had just entered high school, was asked, what is your pronoun? He didn't know. You know what she's talking about. He felt bullied. So this does not eliminate anything. It just follows state law. Whereas the board does not support the teaching of the 1619 Project and CRT and related principles of Stafford County schools, nor does it support the students of Stafford County Public Schools being requested to identify their chosen pronouns. Whereas the board does not support the school board expending any funds to teach or further the 1619 Project or CRT or related principles or student pronoun selections in Stafford County Public Schools. And whereas the board will stringently review all appropriation requests from the school board to ensure funding is not dedicated to practices specifically denounced in this resolution. Funding that goes to those different things. If the school board decides to do what Fairfax County did and bring in a guy that is, quote, an expert in CRT, and I don't have his name in front of me, but he's way out there, and pay him $20,000, if our school board decides to do that, guess what? This resolution will give us the authority to deduct that $20,000 at the next budget time. It does not give us the authority to reduce school funding. We can't do that by law. We have to provide funding to our school system. But we can reduce funding for any project that that promotes CRT or promotes Project 1619 or requires students to give their pronoun. That's what this resolution is all about. Very simple, to the point. It follows state law right down the line. Right down the line. Now, there's one other state law I want to quote. Did a lot of research on this. It's a Code of Virginia, I-240.1, called Rights of Parents. It's very short. A parent has a fundamental right to make decisions concerning the upbringing, education, and care of the parent's child. A fundamental right. That was passed in 2013. Now, I'm not sure how everybody got upset about this thing. I mean, we had the meeting with Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones says we're not doing it. Fine. If you're not doing it, you're not doing it. What this resolution is saying, we don't want you to do it in the future. The day after that meeting, we got calls from Josh Cole's office, Senator Sorvel's office. There is a newsletter online called, I think it's called Blue Virginia. Go read that one. I've personally been called a racist because of this, and I resent it. This is nothing more than following state law and nothing more than protecting our children. So with that, Madam Chairman, I'll yield back.